Everyone, and call to order the Monday, December 1st, 2025 meeting of the Lake Zurich Village Board. Clerk Johnson, please call the roll.
Mayor Poynton,
I'm here.
Trustee Baradwaj,
Here.
Trustee Marks.
Here.
Trustee Riley.
Here.
Trustee Spicone.
Present.
Trustee Shagru.
Here.
Trustee Wider.
Present.
All present and accounted for. Would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next on the agenda is public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for residents to comment briefly on matters included on the agenda and otherwise of interest to the Board of Trustees. Public comment is limited to 30 minutes in total and up to 5 minutes per speaker, depending upon the number of commenters. We will take public comments from the sign-in sheet in the order in which folks signed in. When you step to the podium, please speak clearly into the microphone, identify yourself with your name and address for the record, and please direct your comments to the board. So, looking at the sign-up list, the first one on the sign-up list is Mary Kozub. Mary? Good evening.
Mary Kozub, 280 Pebble Creek Drive, Lake Zurich, Illinois. First of all, I apologize if my voice goes in and out. I'm battling germs, so plus the brain's not working quite 100%, so I apologize. I'm here tonight to represent the Ancient Oaks Foundation as the president. I have discussed things with our board, and we would like to express opposition to the parking lot that is a project that's been put forth in the new budget for 2026. And the reason we do oppose it not only is the loss of landmark trees, because we'd have to lose a few, but the amount of asphalt that would also be taking up more park property, and also the loss of atmosphere, the loss of canopy. And canopy has a dollar value, and that's easily figured out. There's a calculation. Morton Arboretum uses it all the time. And so does Yale and Harvard and Cornell. And I can get that for you by measuring the DBH of those. But the important part, I think, is when you go to Breezewell too, especially on the weekends in the summer around sunset, the different ages that are there, the different ethnicities, and just it's such a hometown feel, and it's all under this beautiful canopy. So the canopy at that point to me is, it has no monetary value. It's something so special we can't replace. And I feel like I was just here talking about canopy not too long ago, and I feel like, well, I know that Lake Zurich is losing mature canopy at an amazing rate that we cannot sustain without our quality of life going down. The other thing I'd like to emphasize is the loss of biodiversity by taking out these trees and putting young trees in, because the replacement value is not the same. The other thing I wanted to express too was that the asphalt, you're encouraging people to park, so you're turning the situation worse, because, I don't know, it's just, we want to oppose it, and we tried to come up with situations to help you make a better decision, and we came to the conclusion, too, that we are not specialists on parking lots, we're specialists on trees. So we would like to be at the table when you discuss future things. We did not know about this till Friday. So seeing that in the budget presentation it was listed as goal number 3 kind of threw us for a loop, because we had no idea it was in the budget. So if you have any questions about the impact that it might have, I encourage you to give us a call. I have brochures available too. I'll leave a few up here. And thank you for your time. Have a great holiday.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Next is Marty Jablonski.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hello, Marty, how are you?
Good, how are you doing, Tom?
Good.
I'd like to start by just thanking you and all the board members for the time and effort you put in as board members and mayor. It's just a lot of work, and I think it's great that you're volunteering the time that you are. I am here to actually support Mary's initiative, which is the oak trees, but there's much more than the oak trees. Breezewald Park is arguably the most valuable asset the village has on an acre per acre basis. And the point here is that you have currently 24 parking spaces, and the question of, well, why add 10 parking spaces when there are over 200 parking spaces within 900 feet? So I am opposed to destroying these historic landmark trees that are each of them over 100 years old, I believe. Further, I will say to you that based on the information that the village provided, and I've mentioned this previously, that Breezewald Park actually has more cars per acre than even Paulus Park. And in fact, they have more cars per acre than 20 other parks in the village. So it really does beg the question of why you would seize parkland for parking and tear down these historic landmark trees when there's something like 200 plus spaces within 900 feet of the park. And so I have looked at this, and I previously had provided some of this information when I was talking about preserving the sunset. But what I've come back to is this idea that you maybe should have a parking analysis done. There was one done back in 2015, and to my knowledge, there's not been another one completed since that time. And there's this drastic action being considered whereby you're going to rip out this parkland and pave it over, destroy these 3 historic trees, which I heard today from Kathleen, or who was it? Oh, no, Kathleen was telling me about the eagle and the owls, and so, you know, there's a habitat there. And so when I looked at the drawing that was put together, I went ahead and did some drawing myself. I've had my whole life is spent in real estate looking at plans and understanding the dynamics and the contextual nature of real estate. And I believe that if you do this parking analysis, first you're going to find out that you can create an additional driveway, because there is an issue there in terms of parking. You know, there is a safety issue. But if you can create a driveway that circulates the people through the parking lot right back out onto Old Rand Road, you'll solve that problem. Plus, I've determined that within a few hundred feet, right across the street, there are 17 plus parking spaces that can be acquired right across the street. And if the main purpose is to provide more parking for Sunset Pavilion and to get those cars off the streets, because there are residents who have issues with all the cars aggregating on the street, adding 8 more spaces is not going to really alleviate that. I think what the village needs to do is get a parking study, an analysis done, and then look at this idea for parking pods. I call them parking pods because the pods, if they're distributed throughout the downtown area, you're going to circulate more people through the downtown and thereby increase the commerce that you're looking to do in that downtown area. But putting all that parking, additional parking into Breezewald Park doesn't even come close to achieving that objective. So with that, I did have a question. I don't know if this has been studied to the point where you have ideas on cost, but I don't know. What is the cost of the current plan? Does anybody have an answer to that in terms of adding the parking?
We're not even at the point of discussing that at this
Okay,
point,
okay.
so.
Well, that's fair enough. I sent everybody this evening, I sent you an email, but these are perhaps the 2 most relevant pieces where you can see how it may be possible to alleviate the parking problem that you have. Yeah, sure. Oops, I think I got it, maybe give you an extra one there. It's a hand-drawn road that I put in there, but I think it if you had a planner, you deployed a planner, after you did a parking study, you find that maybe there's a better solution than just going ahead and tearing up the land. The second piece you have there shows this parking that is right across the street, and I vetched in the road that you could create without destroying these oak trees. So that's the long and short of my presentation, and I again thank you for taking the time that you do to oversee the village matters. And before I part, is there any questions anybody has of me?
It's public comment, so we got your comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Marty. Okay, next is Alicia Tim.
Hello, Alicia Tim, 1060 Browning Lane. So nice to see all of you. I want to congratulate you on the promenade and all the work done on Main Street. Gorgeous. I really think if you build it, they will come. And you would think that that would also apply to parking lots, but I don't feel the same way about parking lots. So I just wanted to not repeat everything that they've said, of course. But I remember 3 years ago, there was an idea to put parking along Old Rand Road at an angle, and there were maybe 15, 16 spots there, and there was some issues possibly with safety, how they'd back out, and kind of close to the playground, and that plan did not pass, and there were supposedly maybe 2 trees along that area of Old Rand Road that were sick or dying, and those trees remain 3 years later. So I'm happy that the plan did not pass, and those 2 beautiful trees did not get taken, because they have amazing canopies. So the whole idea of the canopies is so important. These trees provide shade. And if we don't have our oak trees and our hickory trees in these parks, why are people gonna come to our parks? It's basically a lake and a field. You know, they could go to a lake and a field in many other places, but these gems that we have at Paulus Park and at Breezewald are just irreplaceable. And we wanna make sure that people wanna come there. And if we're put more spaces for people to park there, which does take up almost all the section of the park until that first sidewalk going, I think, east-west, you know, leading down to the pavilion. We're gonna draw more people and get more footprints. And we want people to come, but we can't overtax these parks. They're so delicate and fragile and really important ecosystems and a reason people came to live here. And I've been here 11 years and I love Lake Zurich. I've loved Lake Zurich. I give my time to this community and I don't want to develop all of it, especially not the things that we have control over, which is our parkland. It's not like private development where we're working on bringing communities, you know, building communities, getting more people in here, which is great for everybody to have more families and people. So I just would say that a few parking spots is not worth removing 3 beautiful trees that I walked around today and potentially losing that canopy cover, which is so vital to the enjoyment of the park. So thanks for listening.
Okay, thank you. Next is, John, I hope I don't screw up your name here. Katulski? What? John Katulski.
Very good. So I've been a resident here for 39 years, and I love Lake Zurich. I don't like to see anything happen to our parks, because this was the big reason we moved here, to have such beautiful spaces. And I can't compete with the folks that just spoke ahead of me because they're a lot smarter than I am. But I've been here for a long time, and I want to enjoy the parks as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next one and the last one is Jose Santa Maria.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Jose Santa Maria. I'm from 8 Tanglewood Lane in Hawthorne Woods. And a Hawthorne Woods resident and the person who started the petition, that most of you probably know about it, gathered 260 signatures from our community regarding the Middlewood East development. Thank you for allowing me to speak here. My family and I moved to our home a little over a year ago. We were drawn by the peace of the forested area and the wildlife that surrounds that area. I'm here tonight because of the deep concern that we have, and there are other neighbors here with me, that about the destruction of this forest and the long-standing wildlife corridor that runs through it. This land is not an empty space. It is a living ecosystem. home to deer, owls, foxes, and many other species that depends on continuous recover. Once the forest is removed and the corridor is cut, the habitat is lost forever. We cannot rebuild what nature created over decades. I know it may sound like I'm simply trying to protect my surroundings because my property will no longer be bordered by forests and its value may be affected, but our concern is deeper. We have grown used to sharing this land with wildlife. These animals walk through our yards daily. They are part of our identity and rhythm of our neighborhood. And a dense development of this size will completely displace them. What worries me even more is that none of us, none of me or my neighbors, were notified of this project. Not me and not any other Hawthorne Woods neighbors, despite living directly along the property line. We only learned about it recently by chance after meeting one of the developers who mentioned the imminent construction that it was going to happen. This lack of communication is deeply concerning for a project of this scale. That's why I started the Change.org petition, which quickly gathered 260 signatures from Hawthorne Woods and Lake Zurich residents who share the same concern that I do. There are also serious practical issues. The current forest absorbs stormwater and protects our homes from flooding. Replacing it with pavement, rooftops, driveways will create major drainage problems. The proposed retention wall also raises a question: who will maintain it? Who is responsible if it fails? And how will the safety of downhill residents be ensured? And lastly, the increase from 9 units to 15 is a major jump in density. More units means more runoff, more traffic, more noise, and more pressure on the land that simply cannot support it safely. I respectfully ask all of you, board members, to reconsider this development and explore alternatives that protect the forest, preserve the wildlife corridor, and maintain the safety and character of all community. Development should enhance Lake Zurich, not harm the families and natural resources already here. Thank you for listening on behalf of our residents and the 260 people who signed the petition. I appreciate your attention in this matter.
One second, please.
Sure.
You said you live on Interlochen?
No, 8 Tanglewood Lane.
Oh, 8 Tanglewood. Okay, I got you. Okay, thank you. Okay, one more chance if there's anybody else who wants to speak at public comment, even though you didn't sign in, before I close public comment. Going, gone. Okay, we'll close public comment for tonight, and we will move on to the president's report, and I have nothing new to report, so we'll go on to a public hearing. Item 6 on the agenda, it's a public hearing on consideration of the proposed Village of Lake Zurich annual budget for fiscal year 2026. And I'll read the summary. This is a public hearing for the proposed annual budget for the Village of Lake Zurich's 2026 fiscal year, which will run January 1 through December 31, 2026. This public hearing was noticed in the Daily Herald on November 24th, 2025, on the Village website and in the Benchmark newsletter. And I'm going to stop right there. If any of you have not signed up for Benchmark's newsletter, please do, because a lot of the information that you need to find out about the Village will be in that newsletter. So continuing, the proposed 2026 budget totals $90.2 million to fund a full-service municipality with 156 full-time employees. The Village enjoys a stable financial position. This fiscal year 2026 budget is presented as a balanced operational plan to allocate $90.2 million towards municipal operations and infrastructure investment. The budget includes $5.5 million in funding for road and related infrastructure improvements, along with another $6.8 million in land and building capital improvements, and $6.3 million in water and sewer-related improvements. General fund expenditures and other financing uses total $38.8 million, an increase of 5.3% over the current fiscal year's budget. Revenues for fiscal year 2026 are expected to total $38.8 million with a projected surplus of $371 for the fiscal year. This has been another challenging financial year for the village and a challenging process, which starts in July. Thanks to the staff for all the hard work they put in getting this done. Rita Cruz and all of the senior managers did a great job. Nobody is getting everything they wanted, nor everything they needed. It's a fluid document. Changes will occur. The 20-year CIP will be adjusted accordingly as changes do occur. Some items may have to be reprioritized. Budget updates and budget amendments will be provided as needed periodically by staff. A copy of the proposed budget has been available for public review at Village Hall, the Ela Public Library, and the Village website since November 12, 2025. All interested persons are invited to attend this public hearing and provide feedback to the Village Board on the proposed budget. So, we need to open the public hearing. So may I have a motion and a second to open the public hearing on the fiscal year 2026 village budget and receive into the record public comments? First a motion, please, and then a second. Motion? Anybody?
So move, Shagru.
And a second.
Second, Marks.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The public hearing is now open to receive public comments into the record. Are there any public comments on the budget, the proposed budget? Anybody? The public comment on the parking proposal for Breezewall, can we just continue, can we include that as public comments? Or do you want to go through that again?
In this hearing?
Yeah.
The budget hearing?
Yes, it's in the budget.
We can certainly reference your
Your comments.
comments, which are already videotaped and audio recorded, and incorporate those as the comments you want to offer as part of this public hearing, if you wish.
If I may also add, the budget does not actually approve a parking lot for Breezewald Park. It allocates $1.1 million for improvements at Breezewald Park, primarily focused actually on the replacement, reconstruction of the retaining wall. While we're working in Breezewald Park, the parking lot does need to be repaired and replaced. It is something that has been on the list of things to do in our CIP for a number of years. We introduced a concept at the budget workshops to show what representative would look like for a safer, more current design of how a parking lot could be laid out. We will have another round of discussions and drawings and so forth later, probably sometime in first or second quarter of next year. But the budget itself just allocates resources to be placed at Breezewald Park. If the board wants to do something different with that resources, we of course would take that feedback, but it's there and would be awarded to a contract after a bidding process, after our design, after the board and the community has had input.
Right. To simplify that even further, we're not spending, this is not a vote to spend any money. It's simply laying out the general authority of the village over the next year to potentially plan for and allocate funds to specific projects.
So,
May I just ask a question? Of the $1 million, how much of that is for the wall, the shoring up of the wall?
I don't know specifically. Mike?
You know, without holding me to it, Marty, it's roughly $400,000 for the parking lot, and then the wall is the rest. The wall, and then pathways and other improvements.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the project is not just the parking, it's all those other improvements that are included in it. It's all being done at the same time, so, if it goes, so. So we're gonna include your public comments on that item, which is in the budget, as part of the public comments for the public hearing here. Okay? Everybody okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. Jake, did you say anything?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, having said that, are there any additional public comments on the budget? One more time, going, gone. Okay. Then now I need a motion and a second to close the public hearing. This is all legal stuff. That's why we have the lawyer sitting here.
He's a lawyer?
Yes, he is.
Oh, hi.
Didn't you tell him?
Yeah.
He told us that. Okay, I need a motion and a second to close the public hearing on the fiscal year 2026 village budget.
So moved, Spacone.
So Spacone, and a second, please.
Second, Shagru.
Roger Chagru, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is now closed, and we move on to the next agenda item, which is the consent agenda. The titles on the consent agenda will be read by the clerk and approved by a single roll call vote. Any item may be pulled from the consent agenda for board discussion or a separate vote by any member of the board. Clerk Johnson, would you please read the titles?
7A, approval of minutes from the village board meeting of November 17th, 2025. 7B, approval of semi-monthly warrant register dated December 1st, totaling $3,285,197.82. 7C, annual Village of Lake Zurich meeting schedule for 2026. 7D, agreement with MC Building Services for janitorial services in the amount not to exceed $148,141.08. 7E, agreement with Municipal GIS Partners, MGP, for the 2026 GIS Consortium Service Provider Contract Renewal in the amount not to exceed $127,705.44. 7F, agreement with Curry Motors for purchase of two 2026 Ford Police Interceptor utility vehicles in the amount not to exceed $128,000. 7G, agreement with BS&A Software for cloud hosting contract in the amount not to exceed $120,265.
Okay, thank you. Can I ask you to go out in the hall, please, if you're going to have additional conversations? You're missing all the good stuff, too, by leaving, so. Okay, are there any board questions, or is discussion desired on any item, or would anybody like any item pulled for a separate vote? Nope.
No.
The 124,000.
She read 127
one.
instead of
The item E,
So for the record, we would just clarify what
She read 127. She was thinking the-
Sorry?
Item D.
D,
Item D
did I
and
miss
E.
it?
both, item D and E,
D, agreement with MC Building
yes,
Services,
yes, please. The dollar amount,
$145,141.08.
okay, and then the E, item E too, item E as well,
The GIS, $124,705.44.
yes, thank you.
Okay.
What's wrong with
Did
it?
She misread it, the number was incorrect,
I misread it?
yeah,
So it would be as you just corrected the record, and as it is reflected in writing on the village website on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay. Again, any board questions, any comments on the budget? Or on the consent agenda?
Just a question for Chief. So the Interceptor name, is that proprietary to Ford only on their police vehicles?
That's what they call a civilian version of the Explorer. It's called the
Right.
Interceptor. That's the
Okay.
the vehicles we've had for a number of years.
Just curious. Thank you.
Okay, no further questions? Nobody? Then may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? And a second, please.
So moved, Whiter.
Whiter, and a second.
Second, Marks.
Marks. Kathleen, would you please call the roll?
Okay. Trustee Baradwaj?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Riley?
Aye.
Trustee Spicone?
Aye.
Trustee Shagru?
Aye.
Trustee Wyder?
Aye.
Okey-doke, the consent agenda passes, and we move on to new business. Item 8A, Trustee Riley.
So 8A, ordinance adopting the annual budget of the Village of Lake Zurich for all corporate purposes for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31st, 2026. Ordinance number 2025-12-640. In summary, the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget is presented as a balanced operational plan totaling $90.2 million across all funds to allocate the village's fiscal resources towards its priorities and commitments over the next year. The proposed budget authorizes $55.3 million for operation and $21.8 million for capital outlays across all funds. The budget includes $5.5 million in funding for road improvements, $6.8 million in land and building capital projects, and $6.3 million in water and sewer infrastructure. The general fund is the village's main operating fund and all accounts for the major revenues and expenditures across the village's operations. Both revenues and expenditures for FY26 totaling $38.8 million with a projected surplus of $371 for the year. The proposed water sewer enterprise fund expenses total $23.6 million with a projected deficit of $8.3 million for the year. This anticipated deficit is primarily due to the Lake Michigan related expense that were budgeted in FY25 but carried over for the next year. The water sewer fund maintains a healthy fund balance to support the operation for the current system and infrastructure as the village transitions towards Lake Michigan as its future water supply. So the staff recommends approval of the proposed FY26 annual budget.
Okay. Rita, anything more?
I think you guys have pretty much said it all.
We've said it twice.
Yeah, 3 times maybe at this point, but yes, it is a balanced budget for the 2026 budget year. Again, as you've spoken about, it's on our website, it's in Eola Township, it's up at the front counter, and we are ready to dive into 2026, which is only 30 days away.
Today's December 1st. Ray, anything?
Just want to add, Mayor, and for the village trustees, that we really do adhere as best as possible to the principle of we don't spend it if we don't have it. That while the budget, particularly for the water fund, shows a deficit, we have been accumulating funds over the years so that we're able to invest in the infrastructure projects and make the investments toward Lake Michigan water as we're moving toward that transition period.
Okay. Board comments at this point?
I just wanted to make a comment real quickly, and they all laughed.
Yeah.
Except for Mary. Just a reminder, every year we do have the budget workshop, and so I know some people had cited they just heard about this on Friday and some other this, that, and the other, right? And you got to dig into the details. But I would encourage people in the future to come out to the budget workshop at the police department where we hold it in the community room, because that is where you get all the details and you can hear it all there and ask your questions during that time. So. It just helps make it easier for everyone to have to worry about then running out to a meeting like this and using social media to rally the troops to get everybody that you need to show up to the meeting. But if you come to that annual meeting, if you're that invested, it might be worth a couple of hours on a Saturday in November to come on out to those meetings and hear us out once a year. So I just wanted to share that with everybody and get it on the record.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good deal. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just want to thank the staff. I think it was a great point brought up today that, they're not just putting out line items. To Ray's point, we're not spending money if we don't have it, but they're not just putting out line items. If we are going to spend the money For the most part, there's some kind of proposal that's provided along with it that allows the community and ourselves to be able to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and we're spending the money wisely. And it gives opportunity, like it did tonight, to be able to provide feedback on proposed spending and expenditures throughout the fiscal year. So I want to thank the staff for not only just coming up with a balanced budget, but then also, coming up with solutions and proposals for how we spend our money.
Okay, anybody else? Nope. Okay, then,
Yep. So I'm looking for a motion to approve ordinance 2025-12-640, adopting the annual budget of the Village of Lake Zurich for all corporate purposes for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31st, 2026.
So moved, Whiter.
and a
Second, Spacone.
Kathleen, Kathleen, call the roll,
Ready?
please.
Okay. Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Riley?
Aye.
Trustee Spacone?
Aye.
Trustee Chagru?
Aye.
Trustee Wyder?
Aye.
Trustee Baradwash?
Aye.
Okay, budget passes. Rita, staff, thank you. Ray, great job. This is, how many meetings since July have you had on the budget? Throw a number out, it's probably twice that. One never-ending meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably the better term.
Okay, that's the end of new business. We move on to trustee reports.
Well, we
Anybody?
still got a 8B. I'm not done talking yet. So 8B, ordinance amending Title 13 Comprehensive Fee Schedule of the Village of Lake Zurich Municipal Code to amend fees related to the cost of municipal services. In summary, ordinance number 2025-12-640. In summary, in 2018, Title 13 was added to the Lake Zurich Village Code as a comprehensive fee schedule to provide a single convenient location for all listed fees and fines that have been codified into the village code over several decades. The amended schedule will update certain fees and fines for public ways and property, building regulations, and land development fees. The new fees will take place in effect January 1st, 2026.
Okay, any board comments on the fees? No? Ray, anything? Nope. Okay,
So I'm looking for a motion to approve ordinance number 2025-12-641, amending Title 13 Comprehensive Fee Schedule of the Village of Lake Zurich Municipal Code to amend fees related to the cost of municipal services.
So moved, Marks.
Second, Chagru.
Clerk Johnson, roll call, please.
Trustee Riley?
Aye.
Trustee Spacone?
Aye.
Trustee Chagru?
Aye.
Trustee Wyder?
Aye.
Trustee Baradwash?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Okay, that passes as well. That's the end of our new business. We move on to trustee reports. Are there any trustee reports or stray board member comments tonight?
I'd like to
Stray
thank,
comment?
maybe thank Mike and staff and everybody else. There's been a lot of snow and a lot of activity over the last couple of days, and the roads have been safe, and the crew's been working around the clock, so thank you for everything. So I think it's almost an expectation from the village at this point, because you guys have been doing it so well for so many years, so thank you.
Anybody else? Village staff reports. Anybody from the staff have anything? Raise?
Just want to remind everyone that this Saturday is Miracle on Main and Main Street. We get to show off not only Santa's visit, but also all of our beautiful improvements downtown with a little dusting of snow and a little bit of lights just to make it just so. So we look forward to seeing everyone there on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes, the award-winning, yes. Thank you to everyone in the community who supported our efforts to be recognized in Radio 720's competition, where we beat out the Brookfield Zoo's holiday event and the final championship round. So we appreciate the community support of Miracle on Main, and we look forward to seeing everyone there.
Okay. That's end of our regular business for tonight. We will be moving into a brief executive session called for the purpose of 5 ILCS 120/2C11, current litigation. With no additional business to follow, the adjournment from executive session will be also the adjournment for this meeting. May I have a motion to move to executive session?
So moved, Riley.
And a second?
Second, Marks.
Okay, Kathleen, call the roll. This is for adjournment to executive session with no business to follow. Should be first.
Aye.
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 Okay, we are adjourned to executive session. Next meeting is December 15th, right?